Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Anime Finale Reaction Series. This time I will be reacting to SukaSuka.
Сука, блядь, сука.
No, not the kind you're thinking of. I mean SukaSuka as in that's the shorthand title of the actual show. The long original title I'm not going to even try to pronounce. The English translated title is called WorldEnd. What do you do at the end of the world? Are you busy? Will you save us? Yeah, it seems like a cheerful show. But, okay, though I said this is gonna be a reaction, that's actually not quite going to be the case, because as I'd actually, when I recorded this reaction video that you see on screen, when I recorded it yesterday, I didn't realize at the time, but my iPad for some reason was not recording the sound. So yeah, I essentially recorded a reaction video that didn't have sound in it. I don't know why. This has never happened to my iPad camera before, and I restarted my iPad and it worked just fine now, but for some reason it just wasn't recording yesterday. But instead what I'm gonna do is basically commentate over this reaction video that you see here, so you can at least see my facial reactions as I was walking through the latter half of the episode. But instead, what I'm going to be doing instead is commentate over it. So yeah. Yeah, and at this point, when Ren said that, I basically thought at this point she was definitely going to let go. I mean, we kind of saw a little bit of this scene at the very beginning of the show, of the first episode, but that was a while. Yeah, that was a while ago. So I don't remember too much about what happened back then, but in either case, I don't know about you guys, but I really am glad that I stuck with this show. Even though this show was actually a little shorter than I originally thought it was. I originally thought that this was going to be like another 20 plus episode season like ReZero last year, but instead we only got 12 episodes. But with an ending like this, man, it's not like I can't really complain now, is there? Yeah, Kazali finally woke up, but yeah. I mean, we saw this part of the beginning of the first episode, but now that we got the full context of what's going on, man. Eesh. But yeah, it really is funny though, because I said this during the reaction yesterday, even though it ultimately wasn't recorded, but when I first initially looked at the show's promo materials, I'll have it up there on the screen as reference. But when I first looked at it with the promo art, I really thought this is gonna be another lolly bait anime, something like that. And not only that, but it's an anime that's gonna be taking place in a, well, surprise, surprise, fantasy setting. I'm sure this is totally an original idea, but excuse me, drinking my tea. But yeah, as soon as I saw this scene at the very first in the opening minutes of the show, man, that preconceived image pretty much got blown right out the window as soon as I watched that. Man, she's even cheering. Your past life is cheering you on. Come on, you gotta do this. Those two. Willem and Cathali. Jeez. It was a tragedy right from the opening scene. Like, we saw it coming, but and and right here, yep. As soon as the first notes of the song came on, I instantly knew it was Scarborough Fair. It was just listen. Yeah, I was already like just done. Seriously, like every show that you watch and ultimately come to like is usually a hook or something like that that gets you like really into it in like the first episode. For me, the hook was this song, the first episode, the opening credits to the first episode. This was the hook. That was the hook. And like, it was so good of a hook. I literally had to rewind like 3 times just to listen to the song over and over. Like, jeez. Seriously, like, those two had like a happy future ahead of them if only this didn't get in the way. And William had to basically watch as Cathali basically loses herself slowly and slowly. Although even now, despite what was said early in the episode, I'm pretty sure she still didn't completely lose herself from what I'm hearing here. Still though. You really it's still heart-wrenching. Like, I'm pretty sure from yesterday to now, I'm pretty sure I've watched this scene over like 5 times over at this point. It's still heart-wrenching. Like, man. Well, I was surprised that Cathali survived that blast. Although I did look at a Reddit post shortly after I watched this episode. Yeah, here I was being surprised that she actually survived that. But I did briefly read up on a Reddit post, and apparently one of the light novel readers said that she basically dies where she stands, which is, man. But yeah, going back to what I was talking about before the song started, but yeah, even before the show's opening sequence started, like, that kind of what I thought was gonna be the lolly bait type of anime, that kind of view kind of already started to crack when I looked at the show synopsis, which talked of those said lollies being weapons, like willing to face death at pretty much at any given moment, and the protagonist, Willem, he's supposed to be the father figure over them, while at the same time he was still dealing with old wounds. But yeah, still though, despite being swept away by the opening minutes of the show, I will fairly admit that I never actually got fully invested into the show as much as I should have, and that's one thing I kind of regret. Because I remember that during a couple of the episodes in the midway point of the show, I actually kind of was watching that while I was multitasking with something else, which I don't know why I decided to try that, because that's something I've never done before. Usually I would give pretty much all my attention on watching an anime. I never usually do something else at the same time, but yeah, but that probably means that I missed some key world building and character elements that the show did offer, so I'm probably gonna have to end up going back to rewatch a couple of the earlier episodes just to like fully understand like what was like really going on underneath the surface. But yeah, and believe me though, the kind of world building elements I did remember were actually fairly solid. The entire time while I was watching the show, I never really felt that the fantasy element of the story was used as just a gimmick like so many other shows have been guilty of doing. It never tried to be something more or less than what it is supposed to be. And that was one of the things I appreciate about the show. And she's just trying to hold herself together right now. Yeah, goodness. And I probably said in the reaction yesterday that I recorded yesterday that this place has seen quite a bit of loss, I'm sure. This is just a continuation of what usually happens for them normally, which really sucks. Also, as for the odds for a second season at this point, I'm really not all that hopeful for one. Since the original light novels were published by Kadokawa, and if recent history is any indication, it seems that they prefer to use light novel anime adaptations as ad platforms instead of a medium to tell you a full story, which is really unfortunate since we don't have the answers to basically what's going on right here. We don't know, like as Cathali was being reborn, we don't know what her life without Willem will be like, assuming she remembers him at all. I'm pretty sure she remembers him, at least like subconsciously. As this episode was going on, I was pretty certain that she never actually lost herself completely, but not the best way to go out. But yeah, another question that this ending brings up is like that we probably won't have the answer for is what does Willem's death means for world now, because Willem's technically the last human alive, and so now what? Now the world, humanity is essentially extinct. What's next? That really is unfortunate though, because since, I mean, I don't know about you, but this ending really does, this entire 12 episode season really felt more like a setup to like a larger story. Like all that is just introduction. There's not much that, this show really only introduces what we needed to know about this world, not really to tell an entire story. Kind of like ReZero last season, because admittedly a lot of stuff did happen in ReZero, but as for actual plot progression, there wasn't much in the way of that. And another one of those things like I wish that this season was more than 12 episodes, so that it would have had time to flesh out some of the show's supporting casts, but unfortunately that didn't happen, and that's one thing I'm probably gonna miss if there is no second season. But also, before I go, Cathali nominated into the pool for Best Girl 2017. That's right, you heard it here first, folks. okay, I know. The cute and kind type of girls are like a dime and a dozen in the anime medium, and you would think that someone like me, who doesn't believe in the concept of love at first sight, would kind of be turned off with how she kind of just fell for Willem almost immediately. But honestly, in this case, what I said about the story's fantasy element could also apply here. Like, she never really felt like a gimmick used to pull smiles and tears out of us, and believe me, she did a pretty good job doing that. But I think the credit is due, at least in part, to the direction team that was working behind this project, and everything about the show, from the world building to the character interactions, and even the more technical aspects of the show, like the soundtrack, Scarborough Fair, all played a huge role into bringing her character to life, and I love that. I could talk more about the show, but I think I would start to wrap up here before it drags out too long. Overall, even if there wasn't anything in the show that makes it a clear standout over the other shows that we got so far this year, like except for maybe the soundtrack of the show, but that could be argued. But it is still a solid production overall, and I would still recommend it to anyone who wants a romance tragedy kind of story. But yeah, if this makes it into my top 10 anime of the year, and as of right now, it is fairly likely to, hopefully I will have time to talk more about the show in a separate video then. And that's it from me. If you enjoy what I do so far, please subscribe to my channel, or alternatively, if you're on mobile, you can hit this bell button on my anime finale reaction series playlist to be notified of any future reactions and to anime like As the Moon So Beautiful and Kado the Right Answer, which those two shows I should hopefully have up by the end of the week, so you guys can look forward to that. Anyways, have a good day or good night wherever you live, and I will see you again next time.